Hi everyone, welcome to episode 5 of the Arena Australis podcast, and we've titled this one Tournaments Aren't Easy. And I'd like to welcome to the panel today, we've got Bamboss, Stumpy, and our special guest, BoeyJangles. Hi everyone.
Hey, good to be with you.
Howdy.
Hi also, what are we going to talk about tonight? We've got a few things on the agenda and we're going to try and spice it up a bit and change it around a bit, so hopefully we don't make people too dizzy. I think probably what's the top of everyone's mind at the moment is we started season 8 today. What are we thinking about how that went? Has everyone done their sets yet? I haven't done all mine.
I
Stumpy?
have done
Boey?
a few sets. It's been pretty fun. I like the new move reworks, loving the poison types, using the old Ariados. It's been enjoyable. So yeah.
Did you have a decent area dose? I've just learned how to say that.
I had a Spinnerack that I never evolved and just kept that was like rank 20 or something. And as soon as I saw the move update, I just evolved it and powered it up.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
All right. And so what did you face Pokemon that you felt that really gave you an advantage against? Was there charm out there?
There's been a lot of charm, a lot of Snubble, a lot of Altaria as well, a lot of Metamons.
You faced a lot of meta teams too?
Yes, yeah, a lot of meta teams running today. So, people trying to get their early wins in.
I must have just been lucky, or maybe it's the time of day you play, but I faced some really funny things, and I think I was saying to the guys before, I faced a Hitmonchan with was it Rock Smash as a fast move and Brick Break as the charge move, and I know there was a what's that evolution of the Cacturn?
Maractus.
Maractus.
Yeah, that's actually a South American exclusive. So you faced your favourite South Americans.
Yeah, well, I still did okay, so that's good. That's surprising, but I think Maractus is. I actually looked it up on PvPoke after, and it's actually meta, but they weren't using. I think the meta fast move might be a grass move, but they were using Poison Sting, and it just wasn't doing anything, even to my Azu. So don't know.
Even
backfired,
with the update.
I think. Yeah, but I think. In hindsight, I did take a screenshot and the CP might have been 700 and something. So
yeah, I've noticed a lot of under-leveled things. They're using meta things, but they're like 1,000 CP, so...
Yeah.
People are learning.
How about you, Stumpy? Have you delved in yet?
Yeah, I've got a couple sets in. I'll say a couple sets. I've done my sets for the day, but, you always see the spicy early on. A couple of Sylveons were interesting to see those floating around, and some pound Wigglytuff, so people swapping Wigglytuffs into my Sableye, and I just panic and then go, oh wait, I can just return this thing a few times and win the matchup somehow.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen a few random like single move mons where I'm just like, oh man, Vaporeon with Hydro Pump was another one today I saw, and I was like, it's weird that people just staying in matchups. So I'm like, I get it. Like it's good that more people are like getting into it, but also it's like even the most like basic level stuff that you can probably pick up from raids. Should sort of still be there, but it's just like you see, there's a couple of games there where it's just a bit of a pushover. But I only went I didn't go like a really good day, like 19-6. So I had a couple of people win games where I was just like, okay, well, it's definitely competitive. Some good move updates though. The poison types definitely needed what they got, and it was a good response to not nerfing Charm, because they sort of need to nerf Charm, so they thought. But this is a good way of sort of more things just to try to nerf Azu as well, and they can't really seem to do it. I think this one might do a bit of a job on it, but I think the Azu will still float around a bit.
Yeah. I think it was well overdue, wasn't it, to have something happen like that. When you're talking about, coming up against a few interesting Pokemon, I actually really loved this first part because, we don't face generally, if you're a regular PvP, you don't face those Pokemon and those moves much. And it kind of is a bit of a shout out to all the people who are just having fun with it, and they're just doing it for the dust, or they're just gone in there, and like probably kids even, and good on them really. I was laughing about it, but honestly, everyone to each person to themselves. And BOGO's a game where you can just indulge in whatever area that you really enjoy, and you can take some stuff more seriously than others, and there's parts of the game I don't take very seriously. So yeah, good luck to them. What about you, Bamboss? Have you delved in yet?
Not a single battle yet. I've been really busy today, so as soon as the podcast's over, I need to try and get some sets in, see if I come up against any spice.
Tell the truth. You're just waiting until now when it's easier and everyone else has leveled up.
That's usually my strategy. Actually, yeah, that's true.
Me too.
I know people that do
Awesome.
that, wait a couple of days and just go for it.
Yeah.
I found it worked really
So
well in that
we got to
season
think
one,
what's
but less so now. Now I think
Season
everyone sort
one.
of jumps in. Back in the first season of GBL, I think it was pre-season. That's when you found like some really interesting like battles that you were facing up against.
Yeah. It was a lot easier back then.
Yeah, when no one knew what was going on. It was
Yeah.
like it was like silph players versus like everyone else. I think it was
Oh,
just
I
so
love
much
those
fun.
Yeah.
days.
That was definitely me in season 1.
Awesome.
As in,
Yeah,
Boey,
it's
you
like
were
just-
one of the still
Yeah, that's
players
why I think
in season
preseason
one?
was
No, I was a GBL starter.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh, really?
yeah. No wonder I can't win.
Oh no, you're doing great. And the
Oh,
reason
no,
we
that's,
asked you,
that's actually this is a good segue.
yeah.
Good segue into actually.
yeah, the reason we asked Bowie to join
Why are
us
you here, Bowie?
today is big congratulations hitting legend, not just season 7 but season 6 as well. I believe was season 6 the first time.
Yeah. What are we now? Season 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 and 7. Definitely tried very hard every other season. I think season 4 I hit 29.95,
Oh.
and then it ended. So
Oh,
that was pretty
Oh.
rough. And then we had the little cup, which kind of we won't talk about, but
Ugh.
yeah. But yeah, no, it was
back
very satisfying. Yeah, it's back. We're good now.
I remember in season 6 when you hit legend. I remember the post that you made, and you were really super excited, and it was awesome. We were all really happy for you. I think you're one of the first Aussies to hit legend actually that season. Tell me a bit more about, and I think we discussed this at the time, the journey and how you feel you got yourself over the line or improved to that extent to be able to hit legend.
I think it was just the perseverance, really. That was it. I did pretty much like I've done almost. I think similar to Stumpy, he's done around 11,000 GBL battles, pretty high up. So I've definitely done pretty much all of my sets every day. Barely missed out on any. I know some people prefer taking it slow and doing a few a day and taking it easy, but I figure the more I do, the more practice I get, the better I'm going to be, and the quicker I can get there.
I've been told that I need to I need to actually adopt it, but yeah, no, that makes sense because they say that people who master anything, if they master a sport or anything, it's what is it, 10,000 repetitions of something to become
pretty much, yeah, 10,000 hours, something like that.
That's it.
Yeah, 10,000 hours to master something.
That's a lot of hours on your phone.
That's a lot of
screen time.
That's a lot of sets. I don't know if I'm at that yet, but maybe season 12 I'll get there.
So that means you never sit out like Ultra League or Master League. You're always going into all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of better now that they bring Great League back when Master League's back, because I don't know, now that Premier's gone, I'll pretty much solely do Great and Ultra. But yeah, I don't sit out any league basically anymore.
Yeah, I've been told that as well.
It's all
I
fun.
used to sit out, Ultra and Master, and thank God we don't have to do Master now because it's usually something else.
Well, yeah, and it's no 50 cap really, it seems, anymore. So it's all I mean, there's no 40 cap, so everything's just 50 and level 50 Mewtwo's.
Okay, so is there going to be no Master Classic? I haven't seen that.
I don't think so. Well, there hasn't been a Classic for the last 2 seasons, and they haven't mentioned anything, I think, in the recent update about Classic coming back. So
I think from what I've seen, last season there was a Master League Classic, but not every time that there was Master League. So usually like 1 out of every 2 or 3 times Master League would rotate in, they would also have Master League Classic, but sometimes it would just be Master League, like Open Master League.
Yeah.
And then some Great League.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking more Premier as well. Actually, the Premier League they haven't had in a couple of seasons, so
I think
that deters a lot of people. I think from playing Master League 2, not having 40
sense.
best buddied
accessibility, isn't it though? Because like we haven't had dial grades for that long, and it's such a meta Pokemon. Even with all the stuff they've buffed and stuff, they haven't really been able to put a cap on. That's sort of the Azumarill of like Master League, where it's just so good.
The what?
Even with Landorus now, it's still like dial.
Azumarill.
Azumarill. Sorry, we get
Azumarill.
pronunciation right. I'm not. We know.
No,
We know
that might be how you really say it. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, Stumpy's
I know,
always
but
just
I
said Azu, and now I know why.
Yeah.
Just say Azu, Stumpy.
No, I think we have known from previous podcasts that the pronunciation is not my strong point. So can we just move on from that one?
We
So
love
what do you
it.
call
We'll
the
go from there, but
pre-evolution
yeah,
of
so-
Azu?
Maril.
Azuril. Yeah, look, I think some pronunciations I've butchered. I
We could
can't
have
say
a whole
my partner used to
podcast
laugh
on
at
this.
it.
Write that
We could have a
down.
whole podcast. Yeah, we could talk about me talking about like pronunciation of Pokemon for that long. I can't say like I used to say Charizard.
That's
Yeah,
a classic.
Charizard. So my
though.
partner used but like my partner was like, "Where's the I?" every time. It's Charizard, and I'm like, "No, it's Charizard the whole time."
I
So
love
she used
your
to hate it. So
There's
she
no
just
I
every
in
time, yeah, she gets
Charizard.
me for everything. I can't say what else. Let's just keep picking up my lack of pronunciation.
What does Magikarp evolve into?
Oh, that's a tough.
See, this is a weird one. It's because it's pronounced. I'd say Gyarados, but it's not. It's not pronounced that way, is it?
I bet you just say Gary usually.
Because I should say Gary, but like it's Gary. Yeah, Gazza, Australian.
Gazza.
Stick to it. Gazza.
Awesome.
Just shorten everything, right?
Sorry, I totally took over of where you were at.
So we'll talk. I think we'll talk about Dialga. So I think I have managed to remember. We're talking about Dialga.
Yep.
Dialga.
Yep.
Dialga. But yeah,
Go
so I
on.
think that it's just hard to have like, especially like, even like Great League Defense Deoxys hasn't been out for that long, so it's kind of like, and now they're talking about the Reggies as well for Great League, so you can't get like a Great League Rock or Ice
Reggie
without
Rock, yeah.
the box ones. So you
And
need the box
same
to
with
be there and trade down.
Like a Lugia, which you've seen a lot. I guess not a
Lugia,
lot more of, but
Cresselia, same thing.
yeah, all
With the
research
they trade down, but it's so
rewards,
hard.
Yeah.
Latios
Yeah,
is
you
the one that
basically-
I tried to get for the longest time,
Latios.
and it's like a 20% chance with a good friend.
That's
Is
right.
that good though? Is that any good?
No.
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 No, it's not, but it's just fun, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you bring it out for just
The
like
things you do
check
for
out what I
fun.
have.
Yeah.
It is like so hard to get one. I think it's if they have raids again. I don't know if this is still the case. There used to be a situation where if you were like level 10 and you did a raid, the raid boss would come out at level 10, not level 20.
Oh
So this is where you get like your
Like eggs,
friend
like
to start a new account and do a raid and then trade with them, but it's definitely your friend and not you with an alt.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Was it Latias or Latios?
Latios is the one that's hard to get under 1500, I think.
Yeah, that's the hard
blue
one.
one?
I've got a under 1500 Latias, which is the red one.
So you can get
And
that one at level
yeah.
15 on its own.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Latios has to have IVs of like 20 or 30%.
Right, okay. That's
Yeah.
inaccessible basically.
So if you're an ultra friend, I think it's actually impossible.
Yeah, probably is.
You have to be a good or great friend.
Yeah. And
I
that's
want to
all.
hear more about this asking for a friend that you've got, Bamboss, because I think you're such an upstanding member of the community, but I think we've just let something loose.
This is why I don't have one yet.
Okay.
If I wasn't so, stringent on doing that. So this is actually Ryan Swag. He was the one who said, Niantic, you're just encouraging people to get an alt to do all this. Like, I can get my mum to start an account and just trade with her, and that would be one way to get it.
But also, it's a legendary, right? So you need a lot of dust to trade a legendary at Good Friends. It's not like a one.
And you can't just
start
do a whole heap at once. You have to just do it one a day.
One a day.
Oh my god,
and
what a commitment!
You need enough to be able to do one a day with a whatever percent chance, 5%, 10%, whatever it is. Like it's not an easy feat.
No.
Yeah.
Who could be bothered?
Exactly.
While we're talking about multi-accounting, I'm just gonna call myself out on level 1.
Oh, hang on, here we go.
I used to do level 1 decks, so I was pretty keen on my level 1s.
Oh, yeah.
And the only way you can get the egg ones is by adding 9 of your mates at level 1, opening 9 gifts, and it doesn't register that you level up before you get back to the main menu. So you can open 9 gifts, and all 9 of those eggs are level 1. So everything that hatches out of those eggs are level 1. So I was like, how else am I going to get the babies at level 1? So I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I had an account and then hatched a shiny Azumarill, or Azur. Sorry, not Azumarill.
Say it again.
Oh, jeez.
Not again.
You just had to use it as an
Anyway,
example.
I had to anyway. So I had
The one
in
thing.
the first set I did that. So I got the shiny and a Budju as well. Budju, whatever.
I like a budgerigar, the bird.
A
We're
bird,
going to
yes, a
start a new
bird.
language.
Yeah, it's the Stumpy pronunciation of Pokemon decks. You know, on like they have them on like YouTube. You search like how to pronounce Pokemon, and they always sound really like robotic.
Yeah.
I want to start a really bogan Australian one. It's like
Oh.
Charmander, Charmeleon. And everyone's like,
Oh my
what is
God,
this guy
that sounds
doing?
so funny. I really think you should do that.
Oh,
I think you should do YouTube on it.
new Twitter content. Just be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like the guy that's doing the what is it? Peeled Pokemon. It's like my favorite Twitter. It's Pokemon with like without any like the distinguishing features. So it's just like just a shell of Pokemon. It's so good.
That sounds like
Sounds a
nightmares
bit
after
rude.
meal.
I'll just give him a shout out. I think he's back tomorrow. He's been off for a little bit, but they're like, no,
I think
they're
we
not
should
rude.
all
It just looks outrageous. They're just like all of them are so funny, and it's like not what you expect to see.
I think
there's
we
a whole
need to
Twitter,
see that.
There's absolutely a whole Twitter, so you should definitely go and look at that because it's hilarious.
What's it
Okay.
called? Peel Pokemon.
Peeled.
Are we
Pokemon.
linking it? I think we should link it in the.
You probably should put it down there. Yeah, we'll give Trotter some more work for his
Yeah.
comments before. So
Yeah, Trotter needs something to do.
we'll just call out. I'm just going to call out Trotter while we're here. Call people that started at GBL when that was GBL for playing silph were trash. I believe Trotter, didn't you?
I've just seen Mr. Mime peeled,
These are terrifying.
and oh my god, he looks like a flasher.
Oh my god.
It's
I can't
so
see it.
inappropriate.
You should see Drapion.
Oh no!
Uh,
I think we need to see this. All right. Well, as great as that is.
Yeah, back.
So, Bowie, thanks very much for making time to come on. It's been really great chatting to you, and I know you're going to stay around and have a chat to us about a few other things.
Sure.
But good luck for season 8, and
Thank you.
I'll message you later about the coaching.
Yeah, no worries. I'll probably hit you up when I get back down to 100 rating. But
Yeah. I can help you from there.
thank you.
After
You look
25,
better.
you have to talk to Stumpy.
All right.
But make sure you get onto him quick because he likes to leave to the last minute.
I know.
I've changed my ways this season. It's not happening. I'm not playing moves this season. There's no jokes this season. No fun.
No.
I can't
Stumpy,
play. I can't play.
Wasn't it
Go
because
on.
you cracked it halfway through and said, I'm not going to play this game anymore, and just spent weeks and weeks without playing?
I didn't play for. No, I played. I tanked big time from like. I think I got to 2800 pretty early, like halfway through Ultra. I was at 2800. And then I just tanked big time. No, not well then. I tanked
Well,
like
it went quiet and it was awkward, so I had to film.
no, I just tanked hard, and I had weeks of connection where I was just like, it was probably about 10 games a day where it was like missed fast moves or starting the game when they'd like I start the game, it'd go like the countdown and they'd already be attacking me, and I'm like,
Yeah, I had that too.
so I had games like that where I was literally like,
I had
was
that too,
so-
but
I
I
was
didn't
that.
use it as an excuse.
Oh
No.
honestly, I was that.
No,
tilted,
you had
but I
something
keep-
really bad. You posted something on Twitter, and
Oh.
it wasn't even the Pokemon that you had in your team. What was that? What was that all about? What'd you do there?
What, that wasn't in my team. What happened
Oh,
there?
I thought you had a team, you had a line, and then the Pokemon that actually came out wasn't even what you had, or was that you, or maybe that was
there's
someone
been
else?
I know there's been some ones where
dodgy
There was
stuff.
there was one good bug where it was like you'd switch Pokemon and it wouldn't show the graphics, so you'd be throwing bubbles with a Bastiodon or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the one that got me was when you would be halfway through the animation for moves and it would just cut off, so you can't get the full charge on moves.
Yeah.
So it was lagging,
yeah.
to cut off so you end up undercharging a move that you didn't want undercharge, and then they win. It's like
Yeah.
I had that happen on a I think it was Talonflame into Stunfisk, and it was like half health, and I had like 2 Rock Slides banked, and it was like shields down, and like shields down end of the game. I was like I was within like flame charge range.
Can I
And-
just interrupt and say how much I hate
on.
Talonflame? So this story is
Oh.
really triggering me.
Oh, I have seen a lot of Talonflame today, Claire.
Oh,
I'm
they're-
not-
It's like
I'll tell you that.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
it's literally like that sort of thing. But then
Get
I
a
rocks
new
like
idea.
at least it's like Incinerate's good though. I like that they gave fire types a bit of play though. It's kind of like they have to get
Yeah.
everything included, right? They need to get.
I
everything
just
in there
wish
somehow.
everyone didn't use it. If it wasn't just so widely used, I'd be okay with it. But the latest silph tournament I did, which was the one before this month, can't even remember what it was called. We're in Commander now. Anyway, there was Talonflame in every team,
Prismatic?
and I was like, yeah, that's it. Everyone had a Talonflame, and I even brought it, even though I hated it, because it just
You can't hate it that much then.
I did. I hated it. I hardly used it. If I could get away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, you get that.
You can't say that. It was our MVP for Friday Night Fights, right? Trotter won the last game with a
Oh
I think
yeah.
Talonflame into a Vigoroth, I believe.
This is true. Try to
So
make it work.
we can't hate it that much, right?
No, thank God he did that, because
Nothing. But the only thing is like
rescued the occasion.
I think that's my level of hate for Pokemon though is like based on any bugs that seem to be like so linked to that Pokemon, like where like sneaking through Incinerates, people hating Talonflame because you just like get like 5 free turns.
Yeah, that's shit.
It's like you can time it perfectly if you're throwing it like early or late enough, and it's like they sneak one through and you're just like, oh, go away. And you know instantly the matchups change. It doesn't matter how good the matchup was before. It's like, well, now it's changed, so it's a huge advantage.
Yeah, the moveset is pretty amazing, especially having obviously the Brave Bird option there as well. It's like it's pretty scary. I'm probably scared of it, if I'm completely honest. It's like therapy.
Therapy. We talk about Hypno now?
Yeah.
Oh,
please move on to Stumpy.
No, there's no Hypno. There's no Hypno rants. I said I've already
Stumpy about Hypno.
I've already talked to my therapist about Hypno, and we have to just move on and we just have to not talk about it anymore.
Did your therapist just agree?
Do you know last season I no-shielded every single time to try to see if I get Focus Blast, and got Focus Blast like 8 times by a Shadow, that many times with G-Fisk. I was like, oh yeah, this can only be like, what's a Fire Punch going to do? They're going to go up to the move to try to bait it anyway, and then they throw a Focus Blast, and I'm like, who has Focus Blast on a Hypno? Go away.
Lots of people.
Apparently lots of people. Apparently with Shadow. The Shadow with that, people. I was like, all 8 I faced were the ones that had it, I think. I can't really talk. I was running Focus Blast Mew for last season for a while, so it was a bit of fun. Swap Bastion into a Mew and just nuke the thing. My favorite thing ever is just like one-shotting stuff that deserves it, like Bastodon.
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool, actually. The other thing we were going to talk about, and we mentioned just briefly, tournaments, and Bowie, I think you do the occasional silph tournament though now, do you? Or
yeah, I am planning on jumping in the what's the upcoming venture? Because I'm pretty close to hitting ace for the first time. So
awesome.
Yeah, I've been slacking a bit because I focus on GBL a lot. But I do want to sort of get into more now that I sort of didn't really understand
GBL.
Well, I mean, initially the reason that I didn't do it a lot is because I didn't really understand the whole ranking system, like the whole rating, how the ratings worked. But then someone explained it to me and it makes absolute sense. And so now I'm more interested in.
Oh my God, can you explain it to us?
Yeah, what did they say to you to explain it?
I really can't. Who was it? Agent Magikarp told someone else.
Oh yeah.
And they told
he's
me.
An expert. Yeah.
and that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in some ways the weighting and so on, once you get the hang of it, is reasonably straightforward. But there's still a lot of things. People ask me questions and I'm like, I don't know. Around, I got a 4-3. Should I weight that or should I weight the 3?
That's the thing. You like it's straightforward in my head. If you asked me to explain it, I could not. It'd be like talking to a brick wall.
And it's not really that transparent. Like I've asked the question on the silph server around, this person's asked me that given the 2 scenarios, what would they be better to weight? And they say we can't tell you.
Yeah.
Because it's very complex.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard when you have to tell someone that. But I think it's probably much of a muchness in those scenarios. But some people do take it very seriously, which is understandable, put a lot of effort in, and they want to get, the best rank impact possible each month. So it's a bit of an interesting one, that one. But that's great. Congratulations on doing so well in silph and making the crossover to real PvP.
Well, controversial. Real PvP.
Seriously though,
you may have hit legend, but it's not real PvP.
What was your first silph cup? Yeah.
I think my first silph cup was the Toxic Cup. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, the worst one.
Actually, that was my favorite cup.
Oh,
I really enjoyed it.
That was the start of remote tournaments.
Yeah.
I think
that was the first full.
So you've never done an in person?
Oh no. No, I've never done it. I didn't know about it when it was in person. I only found out about silph when remote hit. So
you just wait.
Wait till I'm on way to Sydney for the next one.
Yep, my first was Sydney Toxic Cup. in March
Nice.
15th last year.
Nice.
Speaking of which, as well, I know that they just cancelled a bunch of like live tournaments for like other games and stuff, and sort of announced that there won't be any in person like LAN events and stuff for a lot of games until like 2022.
Wow.
So they've really pushed back. I know that was I don't know if that's just in like North America, but that was a big thing about like they're not going to be doing any I know Rocket League was on the list, and then a few others where they said straight up they're not going to be running. They cancelled one recently, and everyone was really peeved about that, but they have to.
The Toxic was the start of my dust spending cringing when I had to power up a Wormadam to level 40 and could barely deal with it without crying.
Wormadam was huge in that cup.
We've all been there.
10 million dust later, I'm over it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you doing regionals?
I did get an invite to regionals, yeah. So I am trying to figure out a team with 20 points. Very difficult.
Awesome. So you'll be lining up against that mega stacked New South Wales regionals tournament.
Sounds like
we were
it,
talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I don't envy you.
No,
it's definitely the most stacked of the regions.
Oh,
I think,
for sure.
Australia.
I haven't seen who is in it, but I
don't look. Just go. Just go.
Don't
and
look.
I
It's
can
bad
already
news, trust me.
I can already
I've looked.
foresee it all in my head, and it's
I've looked and I went, oh, thank God I live down here.
Well, maybe I'll have
with
to
my
move.
turtleneck.
Yeah.
The one good thing I'm going to say that's different about regionals this year is if you have, I think, 17 players or more. So if it goes for, that's 5 rounds, I think.
5.
You get 2 invites to continentals, whereas in the past, I think you had to have like 33 or 65. Which is really nice.
That is way better. I 100% agree, because I know the Vic regionals last year was the one that was really stacked and had, I don't know how many people, there was lots, and they only got 2 invites, and I really thought there was something not quite right there compared to the size of all the other regionals. I don't know about New South Wales, sorry. I could have been just as the same. But I think that's a big improvement. It's necessary.
At least New South Wales this time, someone can accompany play this to regionals.
Yeah. So there's jokes been done. Last year, so Playdis, he won regionals and participated in continentals. The year before, he came sort of like equal first, and the person who came like proper first couldn't go to Worlds, which was in like North America or Europe or South America back then. And so Playdis was the one who went along. And so this year he's signed up to regionals. We're going to see if he wins again 3rd time in a row.
He hasn't been playing much.
No, he doesn't do as much silph anymore, but he can always jump in.
I got so salty. I lost to him in regionals last year. And it was we both led. It was when when Cherem just got Weatherball. So it was like Weatherball was like the thing, the in thing at the time. Yep, and I know we played. I didn't have one that was like decent IV, so I just did a hundo. So I was like, 15 attack. That's good for like CMP. So that's all it's got going for me, right? I was like, CMP, I'll win CMP at least. First round we play, I think it was game 3, sorry. We both went Cherem to Cherem. We both threw 4 weather balls to all on CMPs to try to stay in the matchup. He won the first CMP, so I was like, what does he have? Mine's a hundo, so he's got to be 15 attack or like whatever. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then it's obviously random if they're the exact same attack. And then I won the next 2, so I was like, I can stay in and not bother trying to catch. And then we both threw, and he won CMP on the 4th one. And then backline was just like RPS, like Venusaur into Swampert, and then like, just like it was just rough backline. And I was just like, I asked him after the game, I was like, what is your IVs on your Cherub? He's just like 15, 14, 15. And I'm like, as if you have a 90. The one time someone has like a bad IV, same as me, I was like, go away. But it was like the most like just random sort of like time for someone to have like a decent IV right in the middle of regionals. And Cherem, that was like Stunfish as well. That's when Stunfish released just for last year's one.
Yeah.
So I know I was walking and running around trying to get Cherems off Stunfish off everyone.
Yeah.
So I had no rare candies. I hadn't, because I wasn't raiding at the time. So I was like running around trying to walk it. Did like 100Ks walking the weeks leading up. Just ridiculous trying to get that candy for that thing. And it was good, but like I think there was like one person. It was me and one other person running it. This is so hard to get. Yeah, that's my last year regional story, is losing to the eventual winner.
Well, looking forward to it.
It's gonna be good fun. It is stacked, but it'll be fun.
It's very. I just looked.
Oh no, we said not to look.
I know you told me not to.
We gave
look,
you
but I just looked.
one bit of advice, and he's just gone for it.
Jeez.
I think I'm gonna.
Our
be
coaching is not kicking off
I'm
to a
gonna
good
be
start.
sick that day. I think.
I'll be sick that day. No, I just wanted to be in person again.
Yeah.
I just want in-person tournaments back
Mm.
so badly. I just miss them so much.
I mean, the closest thing that we managed to get to in-person tournaments, which is not in person because they're not allowed, is that my understanding is if you happen to be like with someone else at the same time that a tournament happens, like 2-3 friends, that something like that is allowed. So we organized for a tournament after raid hour one night when like 2, 3, 4 of us normally go get some burgers at a bar nearby. And all my mates who were going to come along with me for it, they had to bail at the last minute. So I ended up getting a burger and doing the tournament just on my own.
Oh.
So it was always remote.
Oh.
Like most of the people were not coming along. It was just a couple of us who were going to happen to be in the same place.
Yeah.
Because that's still a remote tournament. And we weren't organizing to be there for the tournament. We were going to be there for raid night. Yeah, that's right.
That's so interesting.
I wonder how strict they are on like the rules of that, because I know that for like the team tournament we did, we talked about going and getting beers and like going and having lunch and that whatnot, and we'd all be there talking about, because we wanted to talk. Like I know the guys that I play with, I'm probably the more experienced sort of in terms of battling, like silph, so they were like, "Oh, come along and we'll talk about it and run like talk about battles and how we're going to play." And I was like, "Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, but also I don't know what the rules are around getting everyone together for that sort of stuff." So I was like, a bit of a dicey one, especially because we've got a registered sort of local tournament with like a silph account to host. So we're like, even though it's not it's technically not a silph tournament, I was just still so like,
it's a bit of a
worried
loophole.
about. It's a bit of a loophole. I think like I said, and like not that anyone would know, even if I no one would have known if I wouldn't say it, but like it was one of those things that if it does get out, you go, or
probably
all
putting it on a YouTube podcast is not advised.
The thing is we didn't do it, so it doesn't matter. So
Stumpy was the responsible.
Sure, that's what you
decided not to.
So that's the thing. We're just like, I did like, but like going to a pub, I'd be keen, but I was like, I can't do it when we're potentially, because all it takes is me to annoy people, which is really easy for me. So. And then someone goes to silph, sends me an email and says, "Oh, this is what they did during COVID," and then that's all over, right?
So, I mean, the argument I heard that I thought was quite convincing was like if you and your partner or your housemate all enter in the same tournament and you're in the same household, like, are you supposed to separate for that if you just happen to be in the same place? Particularly if it's a group of 2, 3, 4 people. You're not talking about 10, 20. I mean, the main idea is to stop groups of 20, 30, particularly in like high COVID areas. We're not getting anywhere near that. And particularly for an unranked tournament, one that's not actually within there. The only issue is because it's hosted on the silph website, there is a very, very grey area there. I'm going to put it on the white end of grey. But, it never happened anyway, so it hasn't really been tested. The issues that have come up is when there's been like proper ranked tournaments that have tried to go ahead with everyone meeting in person.
Yeah.
Has that happened? So how many times has that happened?
I think I heard that it did happen once in Australia.
Yeah.
And I don't know too many more of the details, but it's something that does get found out about. And so for anyone listening, you shouldn't be going to an in-person ranked tournament at all. And I want to make that very clear for everything I've said. That sort of thing, I've never organized one. I wouldn't condone it. And I've almost
it's just not worth it.
Don't do it. Go remote.
It's just not worth it. In saying that, it is such a shame, and it's no one's fault. I mean, it's just COVID, and it's the world we live in at the moment. But we all miss in-person tournaments, and we talk about that. But my own community here in Ulverston was, the most active one in Tasmania, and we're only a small town of 15,000 people, but we had a really great community going. Always got enough for ranked tournaments and lots of fun. I mean, Crusader organised them all and made a beautiful wooden trophy because that's his trade, with a poker wall on top, and we were all very excited, who would win it this month, etc. And it just, always had a great feel about it, a great vibe. There was kids that would play. It was a family sort of friendly event. And we only got one tournament in this past season this current season, because it just dropped off. It was too hard to get interest once we had quite a few that were only remote. People just got sick of it and lost interest. And Yeah, that's why we didn't get a regional this season for the first time. We've hosted the last two, but we've had to amalgamate with Victoria, which is just a real shame, just the way it is. But I know a lot of those people that used to come to those tournaments aren't interested anymore and won't come back. So, you know, what we do about that, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But it is a real shame. Anyway, the other thing I was interested in chatting to you guys about tonight was factions. I know you've all been participating in factions, and I think even Bowie, you've been in that as well. So you really get into this silph stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a faction with Bamboss actually. I think we're doing all right. We've had some ups and downs, I think, but overall pretty good. And it's good to see, like a lot of. It seems like some of us are, sort of into silph, but it's good to see some names that you haven't really seen much, and it's good to see people asking and giving advice, and yeah, it seems to be bringing in new names with a new format, which is cool.
That is excellent, because I guess one of the opportunities for us, if we're losing people who aren't interested in doing remote tournaments, we need to find people somewhere as well. And one of the opportunities is to bring people in, perhaps like yourself, or who are even newer to PvP but are coming through the GBL stream, and get them used to silph. And I think one way that probably is a bit more accommodating, or they might feel more comfortable with, is a team tournament where they're going to get some help from their mates around what to do. So
there's not so much pressure solely on them to win the tournament. It's more that they can rely on their team for help. Not that they feel like they have to, but it seems like a lot of people, are really they would like their team to do well, so they're going to give help if they need it. So yeah, I think it's the team environment is a really good introduction for sure.
It seems to have a really good feel.
Yeah, our faction in particular as well, it's got actually quite a range of or diversity of player abilities. I guess some very high level players, and there's others who they're happy to get a win somewhere. And we're all everyone will have a chat about this is what you should do, or watch out for this. It's usually just watch out for Bravebird. It's going to wipe out your team.
Yep. Watch out for Talonflame.
Yeah,
Talonflame exists.
Totally.
What about the coordination, Bamboss? So you're telling us earlier you've had some interesting.
Yeah, so for those listening, the really interesting thing I find about factions is it kind of delegates the tournament organizer role a bit to a captain on each faction. So rather than going straight to the tournament organizer and saying, hey, I have a dispute, what you're supposed to do is say, for example, if Bowie has a dispute with his opponent, is he lets me know, I'm the team captain, and then I coordinate with the other team captain and we try and resolve it amongst ourselves. And if we can do that, it never goes to the tournament organizer. It also means when players have a question of, how do I change my team, or can I do this? They're usually asking me as the team captain or someone else, rather than going to the tournament organizer. And I find that sort of small scale group of 8 is a much better way of sort of communicating things across.
Yeah, can I just say, as a tournament organizer, this is music to my ears. I wish there was more of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Do it yourselves.
Yeah, I might try that sometime.
Yeah, well, no, it is.
Just sort it out amongst yourselves. I've got practice at saying that. You just worry about yourself.
In fact, one of the things,
Bamboss, the proud teacher, just there, just going,
do it yourselves. So one of the things that they've changed up that I think is sort of being trialed and might be brought in for silph tournaments is. So let's say you have a dispute. So let's say Bowie and I are on the same faction. So Stumpy and I are having a battle. Okay. In battle 1, there's a dispute. I say that there was lag, and Stumpy's like, no, there wasn't. You just forgot to tap, whatever. Okay. What would happen in factions?
Sounds like me.
What would happen in factions is we do the replay regardless. Okay. So we go ahead and do the replay, and Stumpy wins. That's what was going to happen anyway. No problem.
Oh my goodness.
Rather than going through the whole process, you just do the replay, and if Stumpy wins anyway, then it wouldn't have made a difference, so whatever, you just keep going. If I win, because I was disputing that there was lag, then it gets escalated to the team captains. And then the 2 team captains, they're the ones who look at the footage and they decide, there actually was lag, and so we'll have the replay stand, Bamboss won. Or they look at it and go, actually, you know what, there wasn't actually lag, so the original result will stand, Stumpy wins.
So you're saying that you do 2 battles for game 1, say?
Yeah, so you must do the replay.
So you do the replay and go, all right, so replay, and that counts as battle 1 done, then you still do games 2 and 3.
Yeah, so after that you do battles 2 and 3. But what happens is, so if, for example, Stumpy, you won the first one, but I said, no, there was lag, and then we do a replay and then you win, well, obviously you get the win regardless.
Yeah,
because
but if you win,
whether
if
it
you
was
win,
stood or not.
yeah,
But if I
okay,
win, then it gets escalated to the faction captains, and if the faction captains disagree, then it gets escalated to the tournament organizer. But the reason why I think that's really good is if you replay and you still win, well, you never needed to take it up with the tournament organizer in the first place. And then you do battles 2 and 3. So I think they're having a look at that through factions, and I wouldn't be surprised if for season 4 of silph Arena that they say we're going to do the same thing. The only issue with it is a little bit complicated. Like I've just explained it, and we're all pretty well versed in how silph tournaments work. And there was a few questions like, well, how does it work? What happens here? But I think once it gets bedded down, it actually makes a lot more sense to me.
It does, definitely.
Yep.
Is it same teams? Do you play same backline? Is it same by the rules that you can change your backline as long, but keep the same
you can change the backline. That's right. Yeah, so you've got to keep the same lanes.
I hate that because I've had a couple of times where I've played people when I've gone the whole way through the game and then one bit of lag doesn't actually make they might got to another move, but I've hard countered you and this is a game over, right? You could have 3 shields here and it wouldn't make a difference. And they go, oh, but I lagged on the move here, so we have to replay. And I'm like,
can I just say, Stumpy, as a tournament organizer, you shouldn't agree to replay that
No, I didn't. But but the organizer said that it has to be replayed.
Okay, so just so everyone's aware, because I think it's important this is out there, because there was some misinformation around in season 2 about this, where if there was any lag whatsoever, regardless of whether it impacted the outcome, you still had to replay, and tournament organisers were making that ruling because that's what people were told. But the latest from the head judges in silph Arena is if the lag doesn't impact the outcome of the battle, then it isn't a replay. And so I think that's actually really good.
I wish I'd known that, because that's literally what happened. Because in that game, the next game, he safe swapped the opposite Pokemon. And it's like, and whenever I play replays and there was lag, I play the game exactly the same way I played it. Even if I was behind or in front, if it was regardless of how I played, I try to play the matchup the same way, and hopefully we get back to the same point that we were at when it lagged.
Yeah, so if this was factions,
that's how I try to do it anyway.
If this was factions, because you would have gotten the win in one battle and the opponent would have gotten the win in the other battle, then that triggers a review of the lag and whether it was there or not. And that's when RocketClare says they would actually say, well, no, the lag wouldn't have impacted it. So the initial result.
Yeah, they needed that, because I've had games where that's like that. Well, that's what I thought. I always thought the rules were that if it was lag at almost any point, they were just replaying games. So.
Initially, that's what we were all told. In season 2, there was an announcement about it. I recall really clearly. But thankfully, that's changed. Actually, the other part, Bamboss, that I really love about that is having been a judge in the wild cards for regionals or continentals or however it worked last season, the Australian region or APAC region wild cards were an absolute nightmare, as far as I think everyone probably recalls how long it took. It was a ridiculously long tournament because everything was so held up. There were so many disputes, and so many of the disputes had to be sort of parked. Like we had sort of various little channels or areas where they were being reviewed, and there was only a limited number of judges who were able to review them, and it was taking quite some time to get through each one because you have to spend time counting moves and making sure and rewatching it again. And what that meant was the hold up was ridiculous, and there was some where really people could have gone ahead and done what you've just described, that they've put in factions and replay the battle just in case, and if the person won again anyway, then it's null and void and you don't have to bring a judge in, and it just would have made so much difference. So I agree with you. I really hope they do bring that in as something, if not for wildcards this season, at least for next season. That would be great.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, Claire, you did say you've got a lot of insights from being a tournament organizer, particularly for the large tournaments. Do you want to give us some more insights about what it's like being a tournament organizer, and maybe some of the things that make it easier for you and make things run a bit more smoothly for everyone?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's something I'm really passionate about. I've really only gotten into it a lot more this season, particularly with my involvement with the Colossal Cup for Arena Australis, which I'm really thrilled that it's going so well. We've gotten 7-round tournaments the last last 3. Which is a massive achievement. I think it's huge for PvP in Australia, because what we're doing is we are bringing in some people from overseas to play, and that's, I mean, they're doing well, but you know, the Australian battlers are doing really well as well. In the most recent one, I think we had a 5-way tie, and there were 2 Aussies in that, and good on them, because they're right up there with the best. So what that's doing by bringing in those international battlers is it's raising the bar and raising the standard, which is what we want to do for PvP in Australia. And the only challenge there is we've got a few things that, you know, have been a bit tricky to manage, particularly around time zones and expectations around when people will battle. We do make it clear. I've put a caveat in the tournament information each month, and thank God I do this, because I've had to use it a couple of times around, this is an Australian tournament. We've opened it up to international players, but by participating, you're agreeing that you will endeavour to organise your battle at a time that suits Australian time zones. So the idea being that you're not expecting the Aussies to get up in the middle of the night just to accommodate your battle times. And we have had a little bit of trouble with that, but generally people do accept that because they want to participate. So they accept that that's part of the rules, that it may be a little bit inconvenient to them at times at the time they have to battle, but most of the guys have been really understanding about that. So that's probably been one of the tricky things. I think one of the things that really helps us is we have a lot of people that we just never have to hear from. They just organise their battles, they get in early. They know that the onus is on them to do it. They know that if it hasn't been organised, they need to open a ticket now. So we have our ticket system, and that's great, because that kind of brings to our attention that there's an issue, rather than finding out at the last minute when it's almost too late. We're trying to round everyone up.
And I think the benefit of the ticket system is that rather than just DMing you or DMing Mitch, any admin, any staff member from Arena Australis can see that and take some action initially at the very least.
Absolutely. I love the ticket system. We've started using it also on the Girls at PvP server, because, you know, we were having issues there as well where people are DMing an admin, and as a tournament organiser, you don't mind, like, you want to be approachable and you want to help everyone. You want everyone to have a good experience and enjoy and have fun. But it does sometimes cross a line, particularly if someone's getting upset about something that's happened, or they're getting aggressive, or, you know, different personalities. You don't really want that in your DMs. So bringing it into a ticket sort of takes it out of there. It makes sure that all the other admins are across it and have visibility. If something happens and, you know, one of us is at work or, you know, asleep or whatever else has happened, there is, you know, there have been times when B-Dog or other admins have been able to jump in and help out. So the ticket system has been really amazing for that. Another thing I really like that really helps out in the Colossal lobby, which, you know, is our biggest lobby and so probably our busiest, is sometimes you have people that aren't admins or TOs, but they'll jump in and they'll say, you know, someone will post, oh, I've got an issue, and they'll say, mate, I think you need to open a ticket. And, you know, it's great because I don't have to say that anymore. I don't have to be the one that's, or Mitchell doesn't have to always be the one that's saying that. And, you know, we'll get someone like Silver or Peng who are just so helpful. We really appreciate when they do that. You know, we've had a bit of argy-bargy at times, even in that channel, which I missed because I was off doing something with the kids or cooking dinner or something. And, you know, someone messaged me and said, quickly, you better get on there. Had to delete a few messages and sort that out. So all of those sort of things are really supportive. And I probably just, want to make a shout out to all the people that do things right, because it is the majority, and it kind of makes the experience great for everyone, and it makes it so much easier on us TOs. And in particular, when you, you know, you can see that people have organised things on time, and you know, they're never the ones that are last to battle. It's generally the same people that are the last or that we're waiting for. So we kind of try to keep giving that message out when it's someone, you know, is kind of repeatedly late organising. Then, you know, can you please just, you know, start at the start of the round? Not actually you, Stumpy. I don't think I've ever had that trouble with you.
No, I think I got a few tags from you, Claire.
Oh, really?
Maybe
I've done it once.
Maybe 1 or 2 tags in the Colossal.
I think everyone's feeling paranoid. Actually, no one here says no one here sticks out in my mind.
Not on your radar.
No,
okay.
I mean, yeah, with Shadow last Colossal.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah, there was that one. There was that one time. Actually. That was really weird. I was more worried about you, Stumpy, because it wasn't like you kind of went AWOL and I was tagging you.
Oh yeah,
I
just completely forgot. I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then I went
You
past
went
that
to
time. I was
sleep,
like, oh
didn't
wait.
you?
Pardon?
No, he was spending time with his sword. Ah,
I spent time with the little one, and I was just like completely
Yeah.
out of it, completely zoned out. I think I was at time zone, just zoned out, just like hanging out. And then,
Yeah.
oh wait. Then I picked up my phone after ages and was like, oh wait, I've forgotten to do this battle. And I've like, oh,
And
okay,
I
cool.
feel awful about that because I knew you'd been trying to do it for the last couple of days. It wasn't as though
Yeah.
you hadn't organised it or it was on
I
you.
tried.
Like it was a really tricky one, and some of them are really tricky to call. And I generally I cop out of those a little bit. I try to talk to the other admins and get a consensus, as opposed to what I'm trying to say is it wasn't me, it was Bamboss who made that call. No,
No, the good thing about
joking.
the ticket.
I feel like I did
thing.
have a say in that, but
Yeah, you did.
it's
I've got the
tricky because
screenshot. No.
for a lot of us, like we are friends, and so
Yeah.
like I'll say not with Colossal, but like I'm in the Mighty Ducklets lobby, and sometimes there'll be a dispute about something, and I'll say, oh look, this is my lobby, so it kind of affects me. So this is my view, but I also feel like I don't necessarily, not that I don't have a right to voice my view, but that the other admins, the other staff should also be having something to say, because it's otherwise there's a bit of a conflict of interest there.
That's what I was just going to say about the ticket system. It's kind of like it's good to have like the ticket system goes in, you get lodged, and then if you see it first and you don't think that there's a personal thing with that person, or you don't know if that person's going to agree if it's coming from you, you can say, look guys, this one might be better managed by someone else, and we can go from there, and it even just causes even less disputes that way as well.
Totally.
I
I
think
even
the
had an
ticket system's
example.
great.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
was just gonna say, like, as a person that's like, not super been into silph a lot, I think it's really helpful because you don't, I don't know, being a player rather than a tournament organizer or someone that people can look to, you don't really want to. I think for me, it feels like a bit of a burden having to message one person to say, oh, can you look at this or can you do this? So I think it's helpful to have a few people that you can message, and I
Yeah.
really like the fact that you
System.
can close the tickets yourself just in case you open a really embarrassing one accidentally.
Okay, now we need an example of what that
Like
would
if
be.
you have 3 hours left on your battle and you've just done your battle, and then you open a ticket saying that you can't do your battle, and then you remember that you just did your battles.
Did you do that last time? I think I remember this.
I did that at the end of the Colossal and was hoping that no one noticed, and I'm really hoping that they don't stay around for long. So yeah,
I am just always so proud when someone opens their own ticket. I'm like, yay! I always say to Mitchell, yay, they opened their own ticket. We're getting somewhere.
I'm just gonna start opening tickets being. I'll start opening tickets being like, I shouldn't have led this game, so it's kind of a mistake. But can I just argue it because it's Trotter I'm battling? So
I think I opened the ticket as can't contact opponent, and then closed the ticket as I'm stupid.
Oh yes, I think I do remember that.
I was hoping no one saw that.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
knew.
that's
I knew, like
amazing.
the fact that you were able to open and close a ticket. You're not stupid.
Yeah. Okay.
I must say, as a tournament organizer, one of the reasons I think tickets are really great, the DMs are also really good for, is I've had situations where someone has in the chat for the tournament said, oh, my opponent used a hypno with ice punch and then fire punch, and now they use one with shadow ball, and it turns out that they made a mistake, that they actually only used ice punch and shadow ball, for example.
Oh no.
And so they've given away the moveset of it in public. So the
Yeah.
benefit of a ticket is no one else sees it.
That's a great.
That's a benefit of DMs as well, but it's basically like a DM that all the admins see.
Yeah.
So it is really important, if you do have a dispute, open a ticket. Don't post in the Colossal or your lobby chat to say and give away information. That's hidden information.
And the other thing I like is you can bring in the two battlers and have the admin. So it's not one battler's in your DMs on this side and the other battler's telling their side, and they can't see what each other's saying. Like they have to be reasonably civil. Well, usually. We've got some examples, but usually they're reasonably civil because they know their opponent can see what they're saying about them. So that's really.
I was gonna say good way for Boey to keep hidden that he opened a bad ticket by telling everyone on the podcast that he opened a bad ticket and an embarrassing one. So if you didn't want anyone to know, you've done really well to not.
You can search them up.
I'm just hoping
we might put it in the comments.
It was number 2. I think it was number 251 or 254. You really want to look for it.
It's really stuck in your brain.
It's really stuck in my head now. I'm hoping Dr. Trotter will edit that part out, but
no, you won't.
Boey, in my books, you're doing so well. I think we can have you as a regular. This is great.
You got to do a cat every month, though.
Yeah, I'm on it. I've just got to hit legend again. Otherwise, Stumpy
Yeah,
won't let
no
me back
pressure.
on. No
I won't let
pressure.
you back on. Don't put this decision on me. I didn't say no.
Oh no, I remember what was your last message. You've just got to hit legend this season, and then you can get on the podcast.
I did say I definitely
You
did say
definitely
that.
did. You definitely did say that.
That was terrible. We should have had you on last season, and I'm sorry about that. I'm pretty sure that was
No,
Stumpy's
I'm
fault.
pretty sure that was. Yeah, that
Can we
was
stop
definitely
just blaming
Stumpy's
me
fault.
for everything?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so
Well,
much
we blame
fun.
Trotter as well.
Oh, Trotter, I forgot about him because he's not talking. But
Oh, you can blame me too, because I think I didn't make it to about 4 times that you guys were recording. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do
I
that.
just,
you can have another person to blame if I'm a regular.
but before we go around blaming everyone, just I think one really important thing about tournament organisers, and I can say this, I organise a lot of my local tournaments and also at the New South Wales level, so like regionals.
By the way.
Thank you. But there is a big issue with being a tournament organizer that it reminds me of someone once used the example of like a fighter pilot. If you're a fighter pilot, you're flying a plane, you fly for about 12 hours. It's incredibly boring. And then suddenly there's missiles going at you and there's all of this stuff that you have to be available for. And being a tournament organizer can be a little bit like that, where it's just like you set up the tournament or you're waiting for the 3-day rounds, or you're waiting for people to sign up. And it's like not much is happening. And then suddenly you get all these people saying, I've got a dispute, or can I sign up, or am I ready to go, or it's the next round, all of this. And it's actually quite stressful in that sense. So for a lot of us, I run my local tournaments, and if we get 14 or more players, I usually don't participate because it is actually a lot of work for those couple of hours. Claire, I think, doesn't really do many of the colossal tournaments because she's running them, and that takes a lot of effort. And it may seem like, oh, you just do 3 battles every 3 days. That's surely not that much on top of it. Or you just got to go to the next round and deal with the occasional dispute. It is actually a lot more effort than a lot of people would imagine. And I see it behind the scenes, and I've also felt it as a tournament organizer. So every time we get to the end, it's really important to thank the tournament organizer. A lot of people do. So I don't want to say it's a thankless task. Like, we do get thanks. But also do your best to help out the tournament organizer, like others have done. Help open tickets, direct people in the right direction. I can see Claire's like nodding her head because she's understands.
Nodding my head off.
I think it's a very, very underestimated role. I did one of the flash tournaments for everyone tournaments the other day for my ranked Commander Cup, and I just can't imagine being a tournament organizer for 7 commanders in a row.
Yeah, the guys over there are pretty nuts on they love it somehow, and they participate in the 7 back-to-back. He'll do 12 hours in a row, and just like
I can't even imagine being a tournament organizer for one with about 4 people, let alone 70. Claire. But
that's 65 plus definitely. We did get up to about 78 or even in the 80s for the one a couple of months ago. Definitely echo all of that, and definitely the night that Colossal starts is crazy, the last few hours, and it's fun. I've got to say, the chat in Colossal, if you've been in there and seen all the argy-bargy and banter and everything that goes on, is actually really, really fun. But just chasing and making sure we're going to, and I've got people in America saying, I'm about to go to bed, can you remove me if it doesn't get to 7 rounds? And just making sure that you are going to get to that 7 rounds, because you want to, if you're only a couple away, you want to make sure, and messaging Mitchell and saying it's your turn, I did it last month, that sort of thing is pretty full on. And I know the last time we filmed this podcast, I remember I watched and I thought, oh my God, you look so tired, because it was the night that we just kicked off Colossal, and it can be really exhausting. And the night also that we wind it up can be exhausting, and each time it is pretty full on. And I know with this last one we had a pretty serious dispute that had gone on for a few days, which probably no one knew about, and also some battlers that didn't organise anything to the last minute that we had to chase. So it can be very, very full on, and we're pretty much ready for a rest at the end of it. But yeah, it's all worth it. So happy to see our all of our Arena Australis lobbies so active, and the tournament's going so well. I think all the lobbies are doing great, and there's some really good banter and some good camaraderie happening in there that some of the team tournaments have helped with. I think that it's good to see.
Yeah, definitely factions are starting to, I think, open people's eyes to how good the team tournament formats are, and how good it's good to also win together, I guess, and sort of definitely some satisfaction in helping as well as battling yourself.
Speaking of format, Stumpy, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
You've got something up your sleeve, haven't you, coming up?
So yes, Claire, we have a draft league starting for Arena Australis, which is going to be something different. I think we've done a similar sort of draft tournament in the past, but I think it got a bit of interest, and I think the guys sort of enjoyed it. So open up for a little bit more of a longer format. So it'll be hopefully 8. I think 8's probably a good number. 8 to 10 is probably good for a draft tournament. You have a couple of bands, you've got 6 each side, so it gets a little bit. The picks get spicy towards the end. You get some weird things coming out, which makes it a bit of fun. But essentially you get to battle every player once, and depending on the interest, as I said, in the form that we're going to put out, to say registration, I'll put in there. Bit of a vote on what are people comfortable with doing, how many battles do you want to do a week, if you want to do, is a couple of best of 3s too much, or it's just one best of 3 and we'll do one battle a week for the draft league. It's probably going to start off after regionals. I think everyone's focused on Venture Cup, so I think we'll go for that, and then, like I said, we'll see how much interest we have, and if we can push it for, a couple of best of 3s a week, we'll do that. But essentially, we'll just get the rankings. It's not really a tournament as such, but more of a leaderboard system. We'll sort of do that, and sort of might be nice to sort of update that in there and have a separate channel all in AA to do that. But hopefully, in the coming days, we'll put something out about that, and I'll put a little bit of a spiel in there and see how we go. I know Claire's been enjoying the draft format, so
yes, I did my first draft tournament. I actually organised one on the J Farm Patreon group. Just way to dive in.
So great.
It was really, really fun. I was really worried about the team I ended up with. It was pretty terrible. So I learned how important it is to, really the draft is the fun part, but that's also the critical part. Because then I was stuck with what I had. The draft is actually
like the most, You've got to really focus on establishing like a really strong core with your first 3. I think it's the really important thing, and have something in mind, and then have replacements for those mons if they get taken.
Yeah, I mean, I had Sableye, so that was a good start, but kind of went
first round pick
from there. Yeah.
That's usually my first round pick. I usually go. It's like my favorite Pokemon, so I'll probably go.
I've got lots more ideas now. That tournament gave me a lot of ideas because it was all mostly Americans, and they do a lot of draft tournaments. And boy, did I learn a lot. So look out.
It's good to remember as well that you only realistically have to face that Pokemon once as well. So even if you do leave yourself 5 mons a week to a certain Pokemon, chances are you're only going to see that Pokemon once. So you can sort of pick your team, and you don't want to be completely weak to one type, but there is definitely Pokemon that you'll come up against. You can't draft perfectly, and you'll come up against Pokemon that just wipe your team. And I've done a bunch of the ones on the leagues through Pogo Raids, and they're an awesome server for like Master League ones as well. And the amount of times that doesn't matter how you draft, and there's just one Pokemon in that league that just absolutely, and as long as it's not a really stupid meta Pokemon, you're usually pretty safe. But I've had times where I did one draft where I was weak to I think Metagross, and it was Premier Masters. I was like, okay, well, this is like the worst. Like, it's one of the best top mons in the entire league, and you've left yourself with like no coverage, next to no coverage for it. So you're so weak to that thing, but you just have to deal with it. And even if you take one game, it's all points based as well. So every game does matter in that league over there as well. They do actually 4. They've changed theirs to 4 battles instead of 3. So even if you go 2-2, it's still all points based and matters that way as much as it does going, even if you go 1-3, that can still make a huge difference. So
I think it's great that you're doing this, and I think more Australians need to get on board. So thanks for giving us that opportunity, because obviously we had the snake draft as part of was the next phase after Continentals last year, and I know for a few of those guys it was the first time they'd done something like that, or they weren't that experienced at it, whereas all the Americans and Europeans were very used to draft tournaments. So it's another way of us, I guess, getting up to speed with tournament formats that we need to.
I don't know if Bamboss or Bowie were in the, I don't think you guys were in the first draft league, the draft tournament we did with AA.
No,
I haven't done it. I haven't participated in any drafts.
I know Trotter was in the
chat.
Bowie,
you're gonna love it.
I know. I think it's a perfect
there.
time to do it as well, right after the Venture Cup, because I found that this sort of meta restriction for Venture gives a lot of people more thought into team building. As far as, like you said, Stumpy, where you're going to have to really focus on 1, 2, or 3 mons and build around that, build your core around that, as opposed to being able to pick one strong core in Prismatic or something like that. So I think it's a good time to do it after
Bowie, draft Hypno.
Don't draft Hypno.
Okay.
I think it was good. I think the fun part as well, the draft was actually we recorded for I think me and Trotter were in there for recording when the draft was actually happening. So we had the voice channel open for the try to jump into the voice channel while we're talking about it. And the guys, just the banter in there was awesome. So the guys
I'm gonna
there with
draft
the live draft.
Talonflame just for you, Claire.
Oh,
Ooh.
shit.
The draft is actually, I think the draft is
I'm gonna
almost just
ban
about
it.
the fun as anything else.
You have a ban round?
Or do that. First round, first and fourth round. So you ban after the ban before everything.
Damn it.
Before first round, you ban.
That is
and
one
then
of the
you,
funnest parts.
For you
and then
now.
you ban. Exactly right. Well, you got to know.
Just write that down.
Write that down.
Yeah,
I know that you definitely ban mons that are you definitely ban some Pokemon that you know people like as well. And there's definitely some jokes in there. People really like certain Pokemon. Then if someone picks something really like Spy, I think someone picked watch me butcher this name. That Beheem.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They picked that thing, and it's got a really good moveset, but like it's like an ultra premium on at best, and they'll pick it in Great League, and it's just like, and as soon as they picked it, they're just, you hear the chat laugh and burst out. What is that? Don't even know what it is. They're just,
I was
so it's
really
good.
looking at that for Venture, actually. It looks like a pretty good mon for this upcoming.
It does look quite good. Just an alternative to not a 10-point Hypno, right?
Exactly, yeah. With
So,
rock slides, so.
That's what you think about in draft as well. You got to think, well, someone's going to pick up that mon, and once it's gone, it's gone. So you look at budget options for certain things. So you can't get G-Fisk. All right, well, Excadrill's probably a.
But we don't give away all your regional secrets on YouTube.
Right. It's just a scapegoat. Don't worry.
If he runs BE, I'll be very surprised.
Especially if I run BE and win.
That'd be so.
I'd be so happy.
We'd make a whole podcast about that. I think you're definitely welcome back.
I've got like a rank 2 that I've saved forever, so you never know.
Oh wow!
Build it, do it, or save it for draft league and pick that and good reactions. So that's the draft thing. I'll put out something ASAP about that, and hopefully that's a bit of fun, something different for the server, and beside the usual lobbies that obviously are picking up a lot of tractions. Seeing Colossal get to 7 rounds pretty comfortably each month is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's great. All right, well, I think we're going to leave it there. We've covered off everything we were going to, and a fair bit extra, which is always fun.
Always the way.
Any last words, anyone?
I've done enough talking in this podcast. I think I'm good.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. You've been a delight.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I'll be glad to be back.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Sounds
all
good.
Right. Thanks very much, everyone, and see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everything's 13.
Everything's hang on. Have you seen any Hypnos?
Everything's 1300 CP.
We're wasting all our good material before we started.
Yeah.
And then RPS me the entire game.
Bowie, the best part about this is hanging shit on Trotter because he can't say anything bad because he's behind.
He can't say anything during the podcast either. So it's a free game. He doesn't talk in the podcast.
All he can do is edit.
Sit there and edit. And then RPS me the entire game.
You're lucky South Australians aren't a race. Otherwise, Claire would be the most racist one so far tonight.
And then RPS me the entire game.
I didn't even get to the chill bro story.
Oh no!